Hello. Please let me know if you can hear me. I'm waiting on your response. All right, so we have 1 more minute. I'll wait for more people to come in. We start at 6. All right, it's 6 on the dot. Welcome to Power Flow Yoga. I see the green bar moving, so that probably means that you can hear me. But if there are any issues while moving through the class, please do let me know. And actually, I see the big speaker in the camera, so I'll just shift this back or to the side a bit. All right. Okay, so we'll get started on our backs. And I'm going to guide you guys through some pranayama. So just get into a comfortable position, laying down. Close your eyes if you'd like. So I'm going to guide you guys through 2 types of breathing. The first one is a wave breath. So both of them have to do with water. So you're going to take a deep inhale through the nose. And as you're inhaling, imagine that your air is filling your entire torso. So beginning with your lower belly, fill the lower belly. And then fill the chest. So you're moving like a wave. On your exhale, you're going to release the chest, release the belly, and then continue inhale, fill the belly. And then feel the expansion in the chest. Perhaps you feel it on the ground, through the back ribs. Exhale, feel everything melt towards the floor. We'll continue to river breath. Again, you just imagine water in a river crashing all over the place. So crashing on the banks, going forward, back. Just imagine that there's water kind of swishing around. So on your inhale, you can start with the lower belly. And then allow your breath to go wherever you lead it. So allow the side ribs to expand. Allow the back ribs to expand. Feel your chest rise. And then exhale, however the body wants to release, allow it to release. Again, inhale, filling the chest, filling the side ribs, feeling the lower ribs. Feeling that air travel up towards the top of your back. And this is just imagination, right? On the exhale, release and allow your body to surrender. You're gonna bring your knees in towards your chest. Bring your right knee in, lengthen the left leg. And then keeping your palm, your left palm on top of your left hip, pull that right knee in a little closer towards the shoulder. Maybe you bring it around the ribs and up. But as you bring the knee up higher, make sure that left hip stays down. So if it begins to lift, just release the hand in the right hand and just allow the knee to come forward. Creating that stability in your pelvic region. Bringing the right knee open towards the right side of the room. Watching that hip. And then bringing the knee through the center towards the other side, towards the left side of the room. Twisting here just slightly. And then bringing the knee back in through the center, lengthen the right leg, bend the left knee, bring the left knee in towards the chest. Repeating what we did on the other side, right hand on the right hip, open the thigh. Keeping that right side down. And then coming through the center, cross over the body. Getting a twist here. Then coming back through the center, bring both knees in towards the chest. And then we're gonna rock back and forth. And then cross out the ankles, coming into your tabletop position. On all fours, shoulders directly above the wrists, knees directly beneath the hips. Spread your fingertips. And then press the tops of your feet down. Coming into a cat-cow, inhale, look up towards the ceiling, opening the chest. Exhale, curl the spine. Inhale, up towards the ceiling, watching your shoulders here. Exhale, curling the spine. Coming back to your flat back. Find that neutral spine, right? So lots of us either sink in the chest here, right? Pull everything in, find that flat back or almost flat back, right? And then really create that stability in your foundation in your hands. So wrists all the way up through the shoulders, open chest. And then you're gonna lengthen your right leg behind you. Keeping the foot on the floor first. Square the hips off before you begin to lift. And then once you have your squared hips, press into the left foot, lift the right leg. Revisiting the chest here, pull the chest through, pull the lower ribs in, find that neutral spine. Flex that right foot, and then lift the left arm. Finding length in the back of the neck. If you're beginning to open the right hip, pull that right hip down. And then plant left palm, lengthen the left leg behind you. Again, squaring off the hips, finding that neutral spine. So you're pressing into the palms, right? There's a rebound up through the arms. But you are stretching from the middle of the muscle. So your stretch is coming from here, right? Not at the joint. So if you're pushing too much, you want to plug in. Lift that left leg. Lift and lengthen the right arm. Exhale, plant the right palm down, left foot down, open the knees, coming back into your first child's pose. Feel free to visit this at any point in the practice. And then slowly coming back onto your palms. Bring your knees in towards each other. First downward facing dog. So just stay here in your first downward facing dog. Good, you guys can hear me. I want you to really feel this first downward facing dog. So everyone just lift your heels. And in lifting your heels, you feel your pelvis raise, right? And tilt. If you'd like to get more tilt, bend the knees. And then really engage everything. Pull the abdominals in. Press the chest down towards the ground. Lengthen in the arms. Bang, lengthen the back of the neck. And then once you're there, once you have that stability, lengthen the heels down towards the ground. And slowly looking up towards the top of the mat, walk your toes towards the front. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Slowly rolling to the top of your standing position. If you have a blanket, you can use a blanket. If you don't, it's fine. I'm going to take a blanket, and just to help with our mobility and stability, right? I'm going to use a blanket, and I want you to see the difference between when you put your heels on the blanket. So heels on the blanket, feet hip width apart. Right? So heels on the blanket, toes on the floor. You should be able to see me. Okay. And then from here, I want you to press the mounds of your big toes into the ground and then send the weight into the blanket. So into the big toe mounds and into the center of the heel. You can maybe feel it a little more if you bend the knees. Bend the knees. Tilt that pelvic area. So lengthen that lower back. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Keeping the weight balanced between that big toe mound and the middle of your heel. And then when you're here, I want you to feel where your weight is. So your hip bones should be directly above your ankles. You can begin to lengthen your legs here as you get that alignment. Hands can be on a block or around your ankles. So try to find that alignment. And then from there, roll up. We'll try the opposite way. So heels on the ground, toes on the blanket, feet hip width apart. Again, press those big toe mounds into the blanket. Bend the knees slightly. Now notice the difference between when you had your heels on the blanket versus this, right? So finding the hips directly above the ankles. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, coming through, flat back to forward fold. Finding the hips again above the ankles. In this case, you'll have to lean a little bit forward into the blanket. And then maybe lengthen your legs. You should have a nice calf stretch here. And slowly roll up. Block. So for stability reasons, we'll have the block in between our thighs. Right, and so I use a block a lot because I think a lot of people think yoga is a lot of stretching, which it can be. But we have various types of bodies, and the block is really good for creating that structure, giving the stability to do most poses. So I talk about stability in the hands and the wrists. This area is extremely important. Okay. So squeezing the block, you're engaging your inner thighs, right? What that does is it Creates this curve in your lower back. And then to oppose that curve, you want to pin your outer hips in. So you're squeezing the inner thighs, but you're squeezing the outer thighs as well. So you should be able to feel that instantly. So feeling that stability, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And then just hold your arms up there. Feeling that stability in the hip area. Engage those quadriceps. On the exhale, come through flat back to forward fold. See if you can keep your fingertips where they are and your shins are on the floor. And then as you're squeezing the block, to come up to halfway up, I want you to engage those outer hips. So squeeze those outer hips and then lift. Find length. And then release. Maybe you release everything so you can feel that sensation again. Squeeze the block first, and then use your outer hips. Squeeze those outer hips to initiate the movement into your flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, and then walk your feet back into your downward facing dog. Holding your downward facing dog here, squeezing the block, engaging those outer hips. Come to plank. Inhale here. Pin those outer hips in. Send the chest through, lengthen the back of the neck. On the exhale, release to the floor. Adjusting the block if you need to. Tops of your feet pressing into the mat. And then before we start doing anything, squeeze that block. Pin the outer hips in. Press into your palms. Pull the elbows in towards the side body. Open the chest, lift the head, and then from there, engage the lower abdominals so they lift off the floor. Keeping the lower abdominals off the floor, begin to lift in the chest even more. Press into the tops of the feet. Inhale here, fill the lungs. Exhale, come through plank to downward facing dog. Bend your knees. If you have a block, remove the block. Inhale, lift your right leg behind you. Exhale, step forward. Coming straight to warrior one. Squaring off your hips. I'm going to mirror you guys. Pulling that left hip forward. Knees tracking towards your second toe. Weight going into that back right side of your heel. Lift the arms. Then look up towards the fingertips. Knit the lower ribs in. Tilt the frontal hip bones. Exhale, plant both palms. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Other side, left side. Step forward, warrior one. Heel to heel alignment or slightly apart. Press into that back heel. Engage your quadricep. Pin the outer hips in. Squeeze, square, lift. Look up towards the fingertips. Bring your palms to touch if you did so on the side. Frame the left foot. Chaturanga on the exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your heels, bend your knees, step walker, jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Shaking your head, yes and no. Inhale, reverse swan dive, looking up towards the fingertips. Exhale, coming straight through, flat back to forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant the palms. Step, walk, or jump to the back of the mat. If you're jumping, you're landing with bent elbows. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Warrior one, right foot. Squaring off the hips, reaching the fingertips up on the inhale. Exhale, open to warrior two. Finding heel to arch alignment here. So we'll be in this for a little bit. I want you to start off with that alignment. So one straight line from the heel to the arch. Your back foot is slightly turned in. So I want you to notice what happens. So if your back foot is slightly turned in, what happens here with your right hip bone is it begins to track in the direction of that foot, right? Front foot straight ahead. So you have this angle in the hips, right? If you begin to open too much, then you can really mess up the hips, right? So we want stability. So hips in the direction of that back foot. Press into that back outer heel. Knee directly above the ankle. Open the arms. And then torso opens. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, coming to side angle. Again, weight into that front heel and then the back right side of the heel or the outer side, whichever side you're on. And then wherever you are, feel that foundation, feel that stability, and then twist from the belly button up. So opening the rib, right side towards the ceiling. Last inhale here. Exhale, just turn around. Frame the foot, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, warrior one. Inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, shifting that foot so you have that heel to arch alignment. You can play around, you can move a little bit here in the pose. Just find that alignment first, then find your stability. So hips in that line of that back foot, parallel to it. Right knee directly above right ankle, or the other side, I'm mirroring you. Open the arms. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle, reaching down towards the floor or block. Stabilizing here, pressing into that back outer heel and into the heel of the front bent leg. Watching your hips here, so remembering that direction. And then spinning from the belly button. So leaving everything from the belly button down where it is, and then turning from the belly button up. Find length in the back of the neck. Inhale. Exhale, frame the foot. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale. One more time. Open the mouth, exhale. Looking towards the top of the mat, step, walk, or jump. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Just hang in here for a little. Let me check the time. And then slowly roll up. We're gonna open our legs. Coming to Prasarita Padottanasana. All right, so wide-legged. You can see me, I'll show you here. So the length of, or the width of the space between your feet, right, is gonna be approximately the length of wrist to wrist, right? So if you can see that, I'm trying to do that. But then it's also dependent on how sturdy you are in this region. So just keeping in mind, remembering how you felt throughout the practice, how wobbly you are in this area, that might determine the width as well, okay? So if you're extremely hypermobile, maybe you close your legs a little shorter. Okay, bringing your hands behind your back. Lengthen the lower back, open, and then lengthen the arms. On your exhale, come through flat back, and then fold. Lengthen the arms towards the floor. Notice how you're feeling in the backs of the legs. You want to lengthen here, but then you want to engage your quadriceps, okay? And then you also want to have a slight curve in your lower back as you're pulling your lower abdominals in. Pin those outer hips in. If you'd like, you can release your hands down towards the ground. And if your head is actually touching the ground, maybe that's a goal for who knows when. Sometimes it takes a very long time. But if your head is down on the ground and it is in your practice to go upside down, go upside down. I won't practice that today with you. But 2 classes ago, I taught tripod headstand. You can just place your hands down, create a triangle with your head, your hands, and then lift your legs. If you want, you can go to a wall. Slowly bring your hands to your hips, headstand does slowly come out at your own time. And then as you're pressing your thumbs into your hip creases, lift. Inhale, look up. Exhale, slowly walk your feet in towards each other. Bend your knees, bring your hips down towards the ground. And then just rock side to side, sway the knees side to side. See how that feels in your hips. And then we're going to come into Bakasana crow pose. Again, I taught this 2 classes ago. So you'll have a second opportunity for headstand here. Bringing your knees up onto your triceps, up towards your underarms. Lean forward, creating a shelf in the arms. Open it into chest. Lift 1 foot at a time. And if it's in your practice, you can release your forehead or your head, the crown of your head, and lift your legs. Working on that tripod headstand. And slowly coming out. Maybe come back through your Bakasana. And then we'll just all lay down on our bellies. Bringing your forehead down towards the mat. Hands underneath your forehead if you'd like. So we're slowing down here. I want you to notice the difference between the beginning of the class and then now. So we're on our backs at the beginning, now we're on our bellies. Just notice what it feels like when you're deeply inhaling and deeply exhaling, but on your stomach. So you should really feel expansion in the back now. Take a deep inhale. And slowly lengthen that exhale. Bringing your feet up towards your buttocks, swaying side to side. And then slowly crossing at the ankles. So we're reversing the beginning of the class. Sit back onto your buttocks. And then we'll just come onto our backs to finish the class in Shavasana. So Shavasana, you can use your blanket underneath your knees. I like to use my blanket. So talking about this pelvic region, right, and the stability. So to release that at the end of class, I place it like at the tailbone so that my pelvis tilts forward or tilts back, right? So what might look like this before is released. Let go of your breath. Slowly coming out of your Shavasana. Come back into your breath. You can stay lying down or slowly and mindfully come to a seated position. I will close the class with one arm. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. Bringing your thumb knuckles in between your eyebrows. The light within me recognizes the light within each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining. Again, this is Power Flow Yoga. And I'll be here again next Friday. So I look forward to seeing you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to slowly walk towards the computer. All right, bye guys.